Hello, my name is Travis Williams, President and CEO of Academics and Athletic Consulting, focusing on educating and empowering tomorrow's collegiate athletic leaders. My passion is for the education and genuine concern and care for today's student athlete. It's the centerpiece of my life's work. A college education, both in and out of the classroom, is a truly rewarding benefit. For more information on AAC, you can go to www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Once again, www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Academics and Athletic Consulting or Twitter at Coach TWill24 or Instagram Travis L. Williams 24. Or you can call me at 404-542-6079. Once again, AAC is very proud to partner with J.R. McHenry of the Bossman Radio Show, covering sports and entertainment across the country. Please tune in weekly for informative, entertaining, and expert analysis on today's sports and entertainment topics. Thank you.
Hip-hop fans, I got a great album for you. The debut album from Family Grind ENT, TrueSpeech and 313 Fresh. We're going to give you 2 discs, 33 songs of pure, genuine hip-hop. Albums available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Slacker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today, TrueSpeech and 313 Fresh, Family Grind ENT. Believe in it, get it.
We have a great show for you, Darian and I are proud to have a great show for you today. We have Darian being a Detroit guy. We have the Detroit Mercy coach on with us, Bacari Alexander, here on the Bossman Show. Coach Alexander, I tell you what, man, I'm glad to have you on the show. We're honored to have you on here, and we've really been big fans of yours. And how are things going with you in the Titans so far this early season here before you get started to play in November, man?
It's going well, and thanks for having me on the show down there in hot Atlanta. Which, us folks up in Detroit feel that, Atlanta is like a suburb of our city. We got a lot of Detroiters down there, natives, one sitting here on the show, hosting tonight. And we're excited. It's day 167 for me since I was introduced as the new head coach coming over from the University of Michigan. And really excited about this group. We got 4 good seniors that have really bought in to what we're trying to build. And we got a group of guys behind them, that are eager to, get out there and compete, at the highest level that they're capable of doing.
Yes, indeed.
I'm glad to hear that, Coach. Definitely. Me being a Detroiter, and I'm actually still in Detroit right now, Coach. I'm still here in the city. But,
Okay.
I've definitely heard about you, and I'm excited about the things that you are doing with the program. I've been going to the Callahan Hall for years, ever since I was a kid. And, it's good to see a brother like yourself get the opportunity. So outside of people like me, how has the community started to embrace you? And how has the native soil here been treating you since you've been hired as a new head coach of the Detroit Titans?
It's been tremendous. And as a matter of fact, growing up in the city of Detroit, as you well know, we have obligation, not only to, go out, and take our experiences to the world, like you've done here in radio and like I've done in athletics through basketball. But, you get to a certain point in time in your life where you feel compelled to give back, and I've been away from Detroit for, close to 10 years now, and I had a lot of great opportunities, in the coaching profession, gained some unique experiences at several stops at Ohio University, Western Michigan, the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. And now that brings me back home to Detroit Mercy, where not only, a lot of the old faces and names and people that followed you during your days in the Detroit Public School League as a player, during my time on the court, at Detroit Mercy, playing in the NCAA tournaments, representing our city, with the words Detroit, going across our chest. It's a great sense of pride and belonging. There's been an outpouring support of people coming back through Callahan Hall, not only just to say hello. Early in our 6 practices that we've had so far, people have come in, just to watch practices, high school coaches, Catholic League coaches, believe it or not, Metro State. It's been great. And then everything kicks off on October 29th when we start back up a series that we hadn't played in a number of years with Wayne State University, and all of the proceeds of that game go to benefit the Detroit Public Schools, and it's going to be matched by one of our corporate sponsors.
Sounds wonderful, Coach. I mean, that's great. Those local rivalries are always good to strike back up. I know for me, going to Tennessee State, playing Middle Tennessee State, I always got out just Florida. Playing a Western Kentucky or playing a Vanderbilt, even right in town, 3 miles from our campus. So I can't imagine for those guys playing Wayne State High is going to make those guys get them real juiced up for that game on the 29th there.
Oh, without question, and it's for a good cause. And we've dropped the ticket price down to $2 per person, and what we're hoping to do is we want to get 8,000 people into that game. 8,000 people, which would generate, $16,000. One of our corporate sponsors will match it, and cut a $32,000 check, which seems nominal, in nature, for the Detroit Public School District, K through 5th grade. But it is an annual event that will only grow, and other sponsors will jump on board. So we'll see that purse grow as well. But again, bigger than that, we want, people to know that, we're Detroit's college team. We've been around 110 years. We're the oldest Division I basketball program in the state of Michigan. And a lot of people don't know that. And so we want to make sure that everybody knows that they can embrace our team. They can come down to Callahan Hall, have that sense of belonging, know that this is their team in college basketball, and we'll go out there and represent them with a lot of fight, and a lot of determination.
That's beautiful, Coach. That's beautiful. And I'll tell you what, part of those 8,000 ticket sales would definitely be me. I will be in attendance because Wayne State University is my alma mater. Go Warriors, aim high. So, I think I have a sense of pride. I have to be in attendance. I definitely see.
Yeah, you have to be. Here would be my rule for you. Just don't come alone. Get as many Wayne State alums as you can. We're all that green that you want to wear. We're going to be there keeping our red. And since we can't get along, let's get it on.
I like that. So we can't get along. Let's get on. That'd be a new show slogan right there, Coach. I like that.
I think so. I like that. Coach, you count me in. You definitely see my face in attendance. You said it's October 20th. I will be there, Coach. I will be there, and I have on my Wayne State gear, all the green and yellow I can find, glass ring and all.
Hey, man. It's all good.
Yes.
Wonderful. Real quick, Coach, to add to that, what are some of your recruiting tactics that you use to help bring in talent to UD Mercy? Because, you and I, we both know Detroit is a basketball mecca. In my personal opinion, our basketball history runs extremely deep here. We have some of the best talent, to me, in the world that comes to the city of Detroit. So what are some of your biggest tactics that you use to recruit college kids or high school kids to come to your program and play for UD Mercy and really get them excited about the program and the aspect of playing for you and the institution?
Right. I think it's important for us to also realize, too, not only the lineage that we come from here in the city of Detroit, where we have produced, some really talented players. Was really pleased to see, although they're a rival of ours, Khalil Felder make it to the Cleveland Cavaliers this year. That was the first Detroit PSL-born player to get to the league in almost, in upwards of 11 to 14 years. And so it was really exciting to see him get in there, which, gave us an inkling that, the talent isn't totally gone in the city. And what we've been through, quite frankly, for those listeners out there that's not, familiar with the city of Detroit, and what we've experienced over recent years is we've gone through what's known as depopulation. As the plants start moving to the southern country, states and out of the country. And some of our manufacturing jobs that we had in a blue-collar town like Detroit, even places like Flint and Saginaw as well, we saw a population from when I was a child from 2 million people go down to roughly about 800,000 today. And so those people didn't die. They just moved to different areas. Some live in Atlanta, some live in, other Midwest cities. Some people move to the East Coast and the West Coast. And so what happens with that as it relates to sports, the pool that you get to recruit from just shrinks. I noticed that during my days at the University of Michigan. I noticed that during my time at Western Michigan as well. And so one of the things that we try to do today to attract talent is, one, not only mine the city for talent in its Detroit public school system, but its charter school system, the Catholic school system, and even the Metro State leagues, that are within a stone's throw of the metropolitan Detroit area. In addition to that, there's this sense right now of young people wanting to, leave home, and what we've discovered from that is, it might be Detroit kids, but it's also kids from Cleveland. It's also kids from Chicago. It's also kids from Columbus. It's also kids from Pittsburgh. It's also kids from Toronto. And Detroit is a destination city right now that has an energy about it and a comeback story about it nationally that has piqued everybody's curiosity. What we do in addition to that is we remind people that 22 NBA players have come out of the University of Detroit Mercy, and we don't have to go all the way back to the 70s to find that evidence. We have them as recent as Ray McCallum Jr., who's playing with the Detroit Pistons. I've coached young people like Willie Green, here at Detroit Mercy, amongst others. In addition to, being the birthplace of the original one and done, Spencer Haywood went here, Dave DeBusschere, NBA great back with the New York Knicks during his era went here. Dick Vitale coached here. Our court is named after him. There's a long lineage and history of that. And then, of course, we talk about an institution that provides a tremendous education, small classroom sizes. We have about 5,000 students spread over our 3 campuses. We never left the city of Detroit. We've been here 139 years. And so there's so many different reasons and attractions that make Detroit such a viable option, not only for the local kids, but for kids that aren't from the area. I have guys on my staff, Jermaine Jackson, who played at Detroit Mercy, been in the NBA for several years, other assistants that had experience professional and overseas. So now they're getting player development from guys that actually been to the level that they aspire to get to. And so that levels the playing ground and give us visibility, and a sense of connectivity with the kids, in addition to the fact me coming from Michigan, having coached the National Player of the Year, Trey Burke, amongst others. And so now you're dealing with a guy that's relatable to, today's player, can help get them, to their dreams, aspirations, and goals, and do it at a place that has a history and a tradition of winning and success like Detroit Mercy.
Coach, I got a two-parter to close you out here with me speech night tonight here on the Bossman Show. First of all, Coach, who are some people who have really impacted your career professionally and personally, whether it be coaches, individuals who really put an impact on you and your life, and also for my listeners down here in Atlanta who are not familiar with your style and the team up there, Detroit Mercy, how are your team going to play this year? You're going to be fast, up-tempo, you're going to play a hard, no defensive team. So if you share with us how your team's going to play, who's the people who really impacted you in your life, Coach, to get you to the point you are right now?
Certainly. Let's talk about the impact first. I mean, I'm a product of a gentleman by the name of Perry Watson. Perry Watson was legendary and most notably known for his, help in the construction of the Fab Five. Okay. I went to high school at Detroit Southwestern up here in Detroit, which produced, guys like Jalen Rose, who I went to high school with, Rashawn Leonard, guys like Howard Isley that played in the NBA, Anderson Hunt who played on those great UNLV teams with Jerry Tarkanian back in the day, amongst many others. But, Coach Watson was such a staple in the development of not only my basketball career, but for me as a coach. I was an assistant for 6 seasons after leaving a stint playing 398 shows in over 13 countries with the Harlem Globetrotters. So he was a great influence. I was influenced by other college coaches, at this level. Tim O'Shea, who I coached under at Ohio University down in Athens, Ohio. Steve Hawkins, who was a John Wooden disciple, who I had learned under at Western Michigan University. John Beeline, one of the top tacticians, offensively in the country at the University of Michigan, where he still coaches. All of those guys brought great influence to not only, how I coach, but how I was influenced. But even down in Atlanta, I mean, you talk about, church organizations like the Shrine of the Black Madonna sitting down there on Abernathy Boulevard, with their bookstores and stuff like that. I grew up in those circles, where, the church here in Detroit has a chapter. We have one in Houston. There's one down in Atlanta. So the people in the religious community there, had helped develop me also. Those people were a great influence of keeping me grounded and understanding, the importance of community, and pride and where you come from as African American, and then, finally, the style of play that we want to play with has a lot to do with us not only playing fast offensively, but being very stingy defensively, which in turn fuels our offense. We want to make sure that we limit teams to one shot, on clean rebounds from misses and turnovers. We want to push the ball to score and explore within 4 to 8 seconds. Okay? Offensively, we want to get ball movement and player movement. We like to play through the paint with the whole idea of making more free throws than our opponents attempt. Detroit Mercy was top 5 in the country last year in points scored in the nation. And so I don't want to abandon that, tradition, that was established under the previous regime. All I want to do is marry that with a defensive focus because we were one of the lower teams in the country defensively. And so when we marry and blend those two styles together and use defense and rebounding as our calling card, we feel that gives us an opportunity to have a game that travels. And that's what we're after, and that's what we're going to try to build. We have 8 new players, 8 returning players, 16 players on the roster in total. So there's a nice blend, of guys that are demonstrated early some great chemistry. And my staff and I couldn't be more thrilled with the direction that we're going in.
Well, Coach, I'll tell you what, Coach, that was a great answer. You got me inspired. I'm a Tennessee State Tiger, which would be making me a Detroit Titan for a day. You got me going, Coach. I want to get up there and play with you right now, man.
Yeah, man. We sit on the street, as your co-hosts know, it's called Livernois. And we are the boys from Livernois, and we want to make sure that everybody, whether it's in hot Atlanta or up here in the Motor City of Detroit, do one thing for us. You know what that is?
What's that?
Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. I got you. Coach, you're clever. I like it, man. Hey, Coach, I tell you, this has been one of our best business we had with a guest this year. I'm not saying that because you're on the show, but I really mean that. One of our best guests of the year, Coach. We really appreciate you. We'll have you on again real soon, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye on the Detroit Titans and remembering them here in Atlanta and, of course, in Detroit, where Darion is right now.
That's right. Nothing but a short trip up
in Callahan Hall.
That's right. And tell all our friends in Atlanta, man, I-75 North. Get off on 6 Mile exit, and you can see us anytime you want.
Yes, indeed. Coach Alexander's been great. Folks, that was Bacari Alexander here on the Bossman Show. Coming up next is Hall of Famer Warren Moon after the break. Stay tuned.
Hello, my name is Travis Williams, President and CEO of Academics and Athletic Consulting, focusing on educating and empowering tomorrow's collegiate athletic leaders. My passion is for the education and genuine concern and care for today's student athlete. It's the centerpiece of my life's work. A college education, both in and out of the classroom, is a truly rewarding benefit. For more information on AAC, you can go to www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Once again, www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Academics and Athletic Consulting, or Twitter at Coach TWill24, or Instagram Travis L. Williams 24. Or you can call me at 404-542-6079. Once again, AAC is very proud to partner with J.R. McHenry of the Bossman Radio Show, covering sports and entertainment across the country. Please tune in weekly for informative, entertaining, and expert analysis on today's sports and entertainment topics. Thank you.
Hip-hop fans, I got a great album for you. The debut album from Family Grind ENT, TrueSpeech and 313 Fresh. We're going to do 2 discs, 33 songs of pure, genuine hip-hop. Albums available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Slacker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today. TrueSpeech and 313 Fresh. Family Grind ENT. Believe in it. Get it.
Folks, we're back here on the Bossman Show. TrueSpeech Thursday. It was just had by Bacari Alexander, the Detroit Mercy Titans basketball coach, new coach up there, talking about the Wayne State game on the 29th. And now we're joined by Pro Football Hall of Famer, Canadian Football League Hall of Famer, and Seattle Seahawks Radio Analyst, Warren Moon, here on the Bossman Show. Warren, how you doing out there, man?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me on your show tonight.
You're very welcome. It's our pleasure because you're one of our favorite quarterbacks. I must tell you, I was telling Speech off the air that how I used to play with you in the Tecmo Bowl and the Maddens. I always played with you guys, man, because you was good.
That was back in the day, man. Nobody knows about Tecmo Bowl but probably me and you.
You're right about that. You're right about that. Now, let's get to the game this week. Are you surprised that the Falcons coming out to Seattle 4-1 after the schedule they've had so far, the wins they've had, and where's really impressed you most about the Falcons so far this season as you look at them on tape to get ready for this game on Sunday?
Well, I think the way they're able to move the ball, not only on the ground but through the air, and they have a great balance on offense right now. They're very, very explosive. But I think the thing that's impressed me more this year is the way their defense is coming around. Their defense is playing well. And that was something that kind of struggled last year, even though they got off to a good start last year. They had a lot of injuries on defense, and they really wore down as the season went along. But right now they're off to a great start, playing good defense on one side of the ball and explosive offense on the other side. So they really got it going on right now, playing with a lot of confidence.
Oh, that's excellent. And I have to agree with you. I think they are definitely firing on all cylinders now. With that being said, Sunday, I feel it's going to be an explosive game. I really do. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited for a lot of the matchups. Now, Warren, what are some of the matchups that you are most excited about and that you really want to see as a fan of the game? What do you think is going to be some of the most explosive matchups that we're going to see on Sunday?
Well, obviously Julio Jones, who's had some huge years, huge games and huge years since he's been in the league. But, 300-yard game a couple of weeks ago, going against probably Richard Sherman a lot of the football game. That should be a great matchup to watch. Levante coming out of the backfield, I think is going to be a great matchup with Bobby Wagner, our middle linebacker, as far as his running the football and being able to catch the ball coming out of the backfield, and Bobby probably being assigned to him a lot of the day. So those are 2 good matchups I'm looking forward to. And, having Mohamed Sanu out there and going against our other corners, Deshaun Shedd and the rest of the guys, it's going to be some great matchups all the way across the board because there's a lot of good football players on both of these teams.
And Warren, the running back matchup really intrigues me because you have Christian Michael, who has really been playing great since he came back to Seattle. And just want to ask you, what has happened with Christian Michael? He got cut, went to Dallas, he went to the Redskins practice squad, got cut. When he came back to you guys, what really clicked for him to make him the back he is right now, leading the way with Rawls been out, beast mode, retiring? So what has this guy meant to your offense, and what do you think has really changed with him since he came back to Pete Carroll and you guys?
I think it's just maturity. He matured. He was here the first time, and he was a young guy. He came out of school early, didn't realize the responsibility it takes to be a professional, and wasn't putting the time in, wasn't putting the work in. And the coaches around here don't care how high a draft pick you are. If you're not putting the work in and you're not productive, you're going to be out of here. So they sent him on his way, and a couple other stops, didn't agree with the way he was doing things as well. The Seahawks gave him another opportunity. He came back with a much different mentality, a lot more mature, and he's matured a lot from last year when we picked him back up through this offseason and now into this offseason. So he really understands that he's got to play football and be a professional and prepare and do all the things that it takes to be a great football player. And he's starting to do that now, and he wasn't doing those things before.
Exactly. And also, we got Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman. What about these guys, how they attack Denver, where they can both be dual threats in the run and the pass game? You got as a quarterback, got to having a back or two who can do both in the passing game and the run game, affect the game in a positive way.
Yeah, Devontae Freeman really showed what type of running back he is, but he also is a great receiver out of the backfield to go along with Coleman. And that was very impressive last week against Dallas, the way they took advantage of Denver trying to take away their wide receivers. And Matt Ryan did a great job of dumping the ball off to his backs, and he got a lot of yards just from dumping the ball off. So that's something we have to be aware of. Our linebackers are going to really have to be a little bit more snugger on these two guys, because once they get the ball in their hands in open space, they know how to make things happen. So that's why I say Atlanta has a lot of different weapons. It's not just Julio Jones on the outside. It's not just Mohamed Sanu. It's all those guys that he's utilizing in their offense, and they're all being very productive.
Well, Warren, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. But real quick to double back on something that you said that I think needs to be discussed a little bit more in depth. When we're talking about Christian Michael and what you feel and what you know from your massive experience playing professional football and all your accolades and things of that nature. What do you think is the biggest hindrance of guys coming into the league that aren't prepared? Because what we've seen the past couple of years is a lot of people, like you said, coming in real high draft picks. We assume that they're going to be these amazing, outstanding players, and they don't live up to their potential. So what are some of the, I don't want to say tactics, but what are some of the pieces of advice, or what are some of the things that you can employ that the common individual can understand about how hard it is being a professional and staying on the NFL roster?
Well, I would tell young guys coming into the league to just continue to be hungry. The problem is you're told all these great things throughout the draft process, how good you are. You get drafted, you sign a contract, you got all this money in your pocket. Now you come into NFL training camp, you think you've arrived. Well, that's where it just all begins. It all begins when you come into that locker room, and you've got to now all of a sudden earn all that respect that you had in college as a big-time player all over again. And you've got veterans in there that have been in the league, some of them 2, some of them 5, some of them 10 or more years in the league. So they know this thing upside down. They know exactly what it takes to be there that long. That's why they're still there. So if I'm a young guy, I'm going to take a hold of a veteran, and I'm going to ask them to lead me. Tell me what I need to do to get to your level. Tell me what I need to do to be a great player. So many guys have such big egos, they don't want to go to other guys and ask for their advice. They want to feel like they know it all themselves. But you got to put your ego to the side. Take the advice of these guys that have been there before. They will lead you and they'll show you the way if you're open to taking their advice. And that would be my biggest advice to a young guy coming into a locker room. Find a veteran, find somebody at your position, find somebody that you know is a great player, and ask him how he does it.
Awesome. And speaking of great players, a player that I really admire, Russell Wilson. I like the guy. I like his style of play. I think his personality is pretty good. I think he's a humble, hardworking individual. And I think he he really displays a lot of the qualities and attributes that you just talked about. I believe that he's a very hardworking guy. I believe he definitely puts the time in, and we can see that on the field time and time again. But his knee has been kind of nicked up, and he's had some ankle injuries this year. So, health-wise settings for this week, do you think that this bye week was really good for him and other guys on the rosters, or do you think that it would have been better health-wise and to keep him in a rhythm if it was just to flow a little bit longer before they had that bye week? So what is your take on that?
Well, a lot of teams would love to have the bye closer to the middle of the season, somewhere around the 7th, 8th game at the halfway point, and then you got another 8 games left to play after that. But for the Seahawks, because of the injury situation to Russell Wilson and a couple other guys, Jimmy Graham coming off of a knee surgery where he could definitely use a break right now. Tyler Lockett had a little strain in his knee as well. So all this time right now is giving these guys a chance to heal up and get themselves ready to go for a long stretch of games. But they needed this rest right now. They couldn't afford to keep playing and maybe further those injuries. So the bye for us, even though it was early, ended up being at a good time because of our injury situation. We got through those first 4 games with a 3-1 record, and now we feel like we're healthier and we're ready to take off for that next drive. So, like I said, you'd love to have it at the middle break if you can, but because of our situation, it ended up happening at the right time. And I'm just glad it did because our team is refreshed and ready to go now.
Folks, we're Holla from Warren Moon here on the Bossman Show. A few more for Warren here on the show. Now, defensively, Warren, do you feel like Richard Sherman would travel with Julio Jones, or Chris Richard will actually trust the guys to play them straight up, whatever side is on, defensive right or defensive left side, or Richard travel? How you feel he'll do that with Julio Jones being as prolific as he's been so far this season so far?
Well, we're going to do a little bit of both. We have great confidence in both of our corners. Deshaun Shedd has played very well this year. I think quarterbacks have the lowest percentage of passer rating as far as throwing to his side this year, something like 38% they only complete on his side. So they feel like he can do the job, but there are certain situations, I'm sure, in the game where Richard will go over and cover Julio Jones. So it just depends on what defense we actually play, but we're going to give him a lot of different looks. And they like to put him in motion a lot to try and get him where he doesn't have to have a one-on-one coverage all the time. So both teams are going to be playing that chess game, and I'm sure you'll see enough of Richard and Julio going against each other. It should be a great matchup.
I'm looking forward to it. I personally think Richard Sherman is one of the best corners in the league that we have. He's exciting. I love his energy. I love his takes. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I think him and Julio matching up is really going to be a memorable time. And speaking of memories, I got to bring this up. So what are some of your memories from of Dan Quinn from his time in Seattle? You know it was coming, Warren. We got to talk about it for a second.
Well, Dan Quinn, man, I love the guy. First of all, he did a great job for us while he was here. He did a great job with our defense. We were one of the best defenses in the league while he was here. One of the reasons why he, got a head coaching job and was in a position to get one almost every year that he was there. It didn't always work out, but the Atlanta situation was something that he loved, and he went after that one. And me and Dan always had a tradition before every home game, because the coach's booth was right next to our radio booth, and we would always go up to the glass and we would elbow the glass to each other just to let both of us know we're coming. The team's going to be physical today, and we're going to get after people. So that was our little thing that we did before every kickoff, just to symbolize, how physical and our defense was going to be that particular day. And they always brought it. So Dan is a guy that I'll always like. I always respect. I want the best for him and his team, except for on this Sunday.
I totally understand that, Warren. A final question for you, Warren, is this. We close out the Georgia Dome this year. They're moving to Mercedes-Benz next door. What has been your most memorable moment, either playing or watching the game at the Georgia Dome? And also, I had on John McClain last week, a guy from Houston Chronicles, who I know he's covered the Oilers a long time. What's your favorite memory about John McClain? I love the guy. He's always telling me great stories when I see him in Nashville, when he comes to Atlanta to cover the Texans. So what's your memory of John McClain and in the Dome that you want to share with us today on the show, Warren, if you don't mind?
Well, believe it or not, the Dome is the place where I played my last professional football game, believe it or not. That's where I walked off the field for the last time as an NFL player with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I knew it was all over when I walked through that tunnel for the last time. So I'll always have that memory of being in the Georgia Dome and walking off the field after a 23-year professional career. So that would be probably the most fond memory I'll have of that place. I think for John McClain, he was the guy that covered me the most for the 10 years I was in Houston, and he was the guy that presented me during the Pro Football Hall of Fame inductee selection committee, and he did a great job of presenting my case to be a Hall of Famer, and he must have did a great job, because I became a first ballot Hall of Famer because of his presentation to the selection committee, and I'll always be indebted to John for that, because you have to have somebody that really knows your history, that knows how to sell you to that committee in order for you to be inducted, and he did a great job for me, and that's something I'll always have a memory of with John and myself.
Well, Warren, I thank you so much for your time today. It's really been an honor and a pleasure, because me and Darion have been fans of yours for years. We talked about it all the time. I say we will talk to you today. So thank you for your time. Hope to see you down the road real soon. Hopefully in the playoffs we can play each other and see each other one way or another, man.
Yeah, it should be a great game this Sunday, and hopefully we will see you down the road. You guys are off to a great start, and so are we. And it's a long season, though, so we got to maintain that. But I'd love to be able to either come down to Atlanta, or you guys come back up here, and we get together in the playoffs. That's what this game is all about, making it to the playoffs to see who can get to the big one. And you can't get to the big one unless you get to the playoffs. So let's hopefully meet later on this season after this game is over.
Yes, indeed. Well, Warren, thank you again for your time. You be good and safe out there in Seattle, okay?
Okay, take care. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome, folks. Hoffman and Warren on the Bossman Show. Coming up next, Jeff Linder.
Hello, my name is Travis Williams, President and CEO of Academics and Athletic Consulting, focusing on educating and empowering tomorrow's collegiate athletic leaders. My passion is for the education and genuine concern and care for today's student athlete. It's the centerpiece of my life's work. A college education, both in and out of the classroom, is a truly rewarding benefit. For more information on AAC, you can go to www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Once again, www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Academics and Athletic Consulting, or Twitter at Coach TWill24, or Instagram Travis L. Williams 24. Or you can call me at 404-542-6079. Once again, AAC is very proud to partner with J.R. McHenry of the Bossman Radio Show, covering sports and entertainment across the country. Please tune in weekly for informative, entertaining, and expert analysis on today's sports and entertainment topics. Thank you.
Hip-hop fans, I got a great album for you. The debut album from Family Grind ENT, TrueSpeech and 313 Fresh. We're going to give you 2 discs, 33 songs of pure, genuine hip-hop. Albums available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Slacker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today. TrueSpeech and 313 Fresh. Family Grind ENT. Believe in it. Get it.
Bossman Show. TrueSpeech Thursday. J.R. McHenry, Darian Thompson here with you. Just joined by Warren Moon, Hall of Famer, and Bacari Alexander of Detroit. Now we're going to Northern Colorado, the Bears. Talking to Jeff Linder, new coach there. Jeff, I know you had practice tonight. How was practice for you tonight, man? Did you guys come out there and go hard for you like you want them to?
No, they've, we've had 8 practices. We've had about 11 team workouts, and about 19 total, 17 of them, man, they've gone really, really hard, and had one where, it looked good on film, but just didn't smell right in the gym that day. Sometimes, tape can lie. That's why you can never recruit based off of just film, because sometimes, that doesn't tell you the whole story. But all in all, we're making progress and just trying to get them to try to play a little bit harder, every second. It's funny, you throw 4 minutes up on the clock, which is, kind of the time between the first media timeout to the second, so on. And, guys think they're in shape, but you start getting up and down that 4 minutes, it's amazing how guys start grabbing their shorts.
Oh, yeah, especially out there in Colorado with that thing in there, if you've ever really been working out where you should, it's going to find you out real quick, Coach. You're trying to go up down there court a few times.
Yeah, it's sometimes, you just, it's amazing how that gets into people's head. I was at Boise State. I grew up in Colorado. Being at Boise State the last 6 years, we'd had in the Mountain West, we had to travel to, a lot of high altitude destinations, and one of them being the University of Wyoming. So we always used to, kind of do some placebo effects with our guys. We found out that, there's a lot of nitrogen and beet juice. So we tell our guys, before the game, we're getting beet juice, they wouldn't get tired, and it ended up working. Our guys thought, we won that game. And then one time we brought out a, one of those air machines that you would use to, dry a floor. Well, our guys, we told them it was an altitude machine and that we were replicating 8,000 feet in Taco Bell Arena. And it's amazing what guys will believe sometimes, or at least what you think they believe.
Most definitely, Coach. But whatever it takes for the team to be successful, right?
No question. Hey, as long as they're not showing up in the locker room reading that sign, where it says, hey, beware of altitude sickness and all the different things at the altitude to do. And, there's a reason why, the schools at high elevation do that, because it does work. Because, guys, there's a lot of mentally soft guys out there in the world right now.
You're right about that.
Awesome, Coach. And we love your enthusiasm. We really do. Now, I got to ask this question. So what does it mean to you to lead a program right now, and how do you plan on putting your stamp on the university and the community? Because it seems like you're really involved with the community, you're familiar with the area. So what does all of this mean to you personally?
For me, it's coming back home. I grew up in Colorado, went to high school in Colorado, played college basketball at Western State Division II school in Colorado, was a ball boy for the Nuggets back in the day. And so, all my roots, my wife's roots, they're all back here in Colorado. And so for me, not necessarily the opportunity to come home wasn't the real reason to, take the job in Northern Colorado. I was in a good situation at Boise where, if we make another NCAA tournament, I, put myself in a pretty good position where, if my boss would have maybe left, which I doubt he would have, but, you put yourself in a position to maybe get that job. But the other day, there's 350 Division I men's basketball jobs. Out of 350, I tell people probably about 150 of those you can actually win at, or where you'd actually want to live and raise a family at. And I've always thought that, Northern Colorado was always a good job where you could do it the right way, recruit the right type of kids, and win games. 5 years ago they went to the NCAA tournament, and there's no reason why we can't have sustained success here. And that's something that you got to build every day. It's not easy. Everybody talks about it. The buzzword nowadays is culture, but we just try to go out and work hard every day and try to recruit the right type of kids who are about the right things and let the chips fall where they may.
And, Coach, who are some coaches, individuals who have had a big impact on you and your career personally and professionally?
There's been a lot. I've been very fortunate to work for some really successful head coaches. You could go down the line, Leon Rice, who was at Gonzaga before he got the Boise State job, who learned an awful lot under Mark Few. Rex Walters at the University of San Francisco, who's a great player at Kansas in the NBA. a great friend who learned a lot from Randy Ray at Weber State. It's one of those guys that's just, gone to the NCAA tournament 3 or 4 times and built Weber State into a national program. As I tell people, I was smart enough to I was the point guy recruiting Damian Lillard to Weber State, and I was smart enough to recruit him, but I was dumb enough not to coach him. So I left to go to San Francisco before he got there, and so that's kind of my claim to fame. But I've just been very fortunate to be around the right type of guys who do it the right way, and that's made my transition from never being a head coach. It's allowed me to make that transition a lot smoother because of the just how much those guys delegated to me, as an assistant coach. And so not, hopping into that other chair. I had a lot of answers being that assistant coach, and they all say you move one chair over, you don't have many answers. But, hopefully I've surrounded myself with great assistant coaches, that'll make my job and make me look a lot better.
Well, Coach, that's an amazing breakdown. It really truly is. Now, you have a lot of ideas about, your recruiting and things of that nature. So I have to ask, your stamp as a head coach is how people view your team. So watching Northern Colorado this season, what are some of the biggest takeaways that you want people to have after they see a team play a game and give all out their effort? What are some of the things that you implore to your kids and to your team, and that you hope translates on the court that people will take away from it?
I hope we're going to compete. We're going to compete every single possession. Everybody talks about playing. Everybody talks about the same thing: playing hard, playing together. That's we're going to try to do that a little bit longer than the other team. There's 30 seconds in the shot clock. Hopefully, defensively, we're not going to give in as quick as the other team's going to give in. On the offensive end, we're going to be about making the extra pass. We're going to be about sharing the ball. A lot of the things we did at Boise, we were one of the harder teams in the country to guard. We had kind of, our motto was when we had gotten to Boise State was that, we couldn't win the Mountain West by, recruiting better athletes or so-called winning in the air against a San Diego State or New Mexico or, we had to win on the ground. And, we really emphasized on recruiting skill, being able to shoot in all 5 positions to where now when you play against more athletic teams, you can pull those more athletic, bigger guys away from the basket, and make them do things that they haven't practiced every day. And so, a lot of the things we did offensively at Boise, where we took a lot of the things that Europe was doing 5 or 6 years ago, which you kind of see in the NBA now, we were doing, and we're going to take that here to Northern Colorado. And so you're going to see a team that really spaces the floor well, going to be able to use the ball screen the right way, and try to create advantages, put teams in rotations, shoot a lot of threes, but shoot the right ones. We're not going to be a team that just shoots bad shots just for the sake of shooting threes. But at the end of the day, you're going to see a team that plays hard, plays together. We're big on touching teammates. We track in practice, a number of times guys touch teammates. And there's also, competing the right way, not competing and being a jerk or an a-hole, but, competing the right way, and enjoying your teammates' success. And that's what we're going to be about at Northern Colorado.
Now, Coach, being in Northern Colorado, I feel like you have a good chance to get guys going to come out there and play you guys, or you can get good teams in that area out there in that west area, Midwest area, to come out and play you guys. So this schedule's probably already done for you this year. So going forward, Coach, how would you see yourself doing non-conference schedule? And for people listening out there out here on our show, who are some teams that you can recognize that you all be playing this year that kind of had national buzz on the people making latch onto and watch you guys play?
Well, it's a schedule was done before I got the job on May 1st, and we are our non-conference schedule is it's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. We start out at Butler, then we come back here, but the main ones will be at Butler, at Arizona, at Oklahoma. We'll be at Colorado State as well. A couple local games with Colorado State and Denver. So. We're going to be like a minor league baseball team the month of November. I mean, we're going to be out on the road quite a bit. We'll have a 10-day stretch where we have to go out, play Santa Clara, go to Arizona, and then go to Vegas and play 2 games on a neutral court at the Orleans Arena. So, we're going to have to fight through November. Then hopefully, December, we're going to be sleeping in our own bed most of that month. And so, we just got to get to that point. Build, when you take a new job, you got to you got to take baby steps, and you just try to, we're not going to solve things overnight, but as long as we just keep making progress and keep doing things the right way, everything else will take care of itself.
Most definitely, Coach. It seems like you have a lot of enthusiasm and optimism and a really bright outlook on the upcoming season. Now, I have to ask, going into this season, the 2016-2017 season, there have been some whispers and some talks about some rules that people would like to see changed. Now, I'm not going to give my opinion on some rules I'd like to see changed because I don't think we have enough show for that.
We don't, brother. We don't.
Exactly. So I'm going to just ask you, Coach, what are some things that you would like the Rules Committee to look into instituting for the upcoming season? And what are some things that you would like to see change just to make the game better, have a better flow? So this is your take on what are some of the things that you would like to see changing as far as the rules, or some things that you just want the Rules Committee to look into for the upcoming season?
I'm not really. I think they're, the NCAA, and I think they're moving in the right direction in terms of freedom of movement and allowing it to be more of a free-flowing game. It doesn't need to be Saturday or Sunday on the football field and guys are beating each other up. But the thing I would like for it to see is just for college, high school, college in America to become more universal in terms of the rules, and more so, adopt, which the women's side is doing that more so than the men's side, but really kind of adopting the FIBA rules. So where everybody's kind of under the same, the same rules, to where it's not two separate games really, and it ends up being three separate games. You have the NBA and the different rules and the different spacing that you have there too. So I would like for it to move more towards the FIBA rules in terms of shorter shot clock. Just because we like to play faster, and I think we also know how to create good shots playing faster. I think the way scoring goes up is that you gotta add more possessions. The only way that you're going to do that is by shorten the shot clock and adding more possessions to the game. And so, if we can move to that, I also like the idea of moving to 4 quarters. Then actually too, to make it better for TV, which the NBA figured out is being able to advance the ball with the timeout, late in the game, whether that might just be the 4th quarter, but be able to advance the ball to where now you got a chance to, maybe get a shot to tie a game or win a game, which, the NBA, they figured that out.
Yes, indeed. And final one for you, Coach. This is a kind of broad question for you. What has been the typical day like for you since you've been the head coach, moving at one silver? What's the typical day like for you for as calling recruits? Is it meeting with boosters, meeting with people in the university, athletic directors, players? What's the typical day like for you, Coach?
Well, when you have 4 kids like I do that are all under the age of 11, 11, 10, 7, and then a 11-month-old, my day starts out one by having to wake up and take my daughter to swim lessons, or swimming practice at 6:30, and then from there, then I try to help my wife out and get the kids to school. By that point in time, you try to get to the office, get some things done, and I'm not necessarily, I don't really, in this day and age in technology with your cell phone, with emails. I'm not a believer in that you got to be in the office and pretending to outwork guys. My thing is let's work the right way. Let's work smart, and then hopefully, I hired smart assistants that they can understand that. Now, hey, you got to work, you got to grind, but at the same time too, let's hey, I want my guys to enjoy life off the court. Be able to spend time with their families, be able to see their kids, if they got a basketball game, a baseball game. Those are moments that, you don't want to look back on, later in life and say, hey, I missed out on those opportunities. And, those are some of the things that I learned from some of my mentors, to where, you don't have to, be in the office at 10 o'clock at night. If that's the case, usually that means you don't like your wife. And I love my wife. I love my kids. And, I want to be around them, and I want my coaches to be around them as well. So, we believe in family at Northern Colorado, both on and off the court, with our players and with our, our families that are at home. So that's what a day consists of at Northern Colorado.
Well, Coach, I tell you what, me and Darian really appreciate your time tonight, Coach. We really inspired us both, and we look forward to having you on again in the future, Coach. It's been a great talking to you, and good luck to you guys in the season. We'll talk to you again down the road, okay?
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome. That was Coach Jeff Linder here on the Bossman Show. Catch us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at BossmanRadioShow.com. Me and Speech, a great show with Warren Moon, Bacari Alexander. We are out.
Hello, my name is Travis Williams, President and CEO of Academics and Athletic Consulting, focusing on educating and empowering tomorrow's collegiate athletic leaders. My passion is for the education and genuine concern and care for today's student athlete. It's the centerpiece of my life's work. A college education, both in and out of the classroom, is a truly rewarding benefit. For more information on AAC, you can go to www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Once again, www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Academics and Athletic Consulting, or Twitter at Coach TWill24, or Instagram Travis L. Williams 24. Or you can call me at 404-542-6079. Once again, AAC is very proud to partner with J.R. McHenry of the Bossman Radio Show, covering sports and entertainment across the country. Please tune in weekly for informative, entertaining, and expert analysis on today's sports and entertainment topics. Thank you.
Hip-hop fans, I got a great album for you. The debut album from Family Grind ENT, TrueSpeech and 313 Fresh. We're going to give you 2 discs, 33 songs of pure, genuine hip-hop. Albums available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Slacker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today. TrueSpeech and 313 Fresh. Family Grind ENT. Believe in it. Get it.